Good morning, it's Brandon Alexander from Brandon Alexander Walks, and I want to welcome you to my channel. This particular series is going to be called The Road to Monetization series, and this is going to be the first episode. So it's going to go over the gear that I use, as well as my path to monetization. Now, I'm not monetized yet, but I am well on my way, and I want to just kind of break things down so that if you're a new creator, you can kind of see the path and how things work along the way. And once I do get monetized, I'll also be happy to share that as well. I mean, it's just numbers, guys. At the end of the day, we can look up celebrities' net worth. Why can't you see what I'm working with? I mean, I don't see the big deal. Anyways, that's going to be the goal of this channel. This is the first episode. So what I'd like to do first and foremost is dive into the gear that I use on a regular basis when I'm filming my walks and talking to you guys, as well as the audio equipment that I use. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is my 360 camera. And this is it right here. This is the Insta360 X3. So it's got a screen on the back and it's got lenses you'll see on both sides. Now this area here is what's considered the stitch line. And that brings me to my next piece of equipment, which is the selfie stick. So when you see me walking, this right here is attached to the bottom, because people ask me this all the time. And pretty much I extend it. And right now you can see the camera is right in front of you, right? Well, this stick becomes invisible because it's in what's called the stitch line. So because it's the same width as the camera, it disappears and all you see is my hand. It looks a little bit funny at the bottom of the video. But if you were ever wondering how that worked, that's essentially how it works. These two lenses here are on the outside, and this area here is called the stitch line. So anything in between these two spots is not caught in the video. And somehow, some way, through movie magic, it puts the picture together. So moving on, and I'm using my Stream Deck here to kind of create some wizardry here so I can move right along. So I've got my DJI Mic 2 kit. This is it right here. Let me just show you a close-up so you can see what comes in there. So I've got this tape right now on the base of this because I had it on the top of my camera, and in order to get it to stay in there, it was a little bit wide, the opening. So in order to get it to stay in there in this orientation, I needed to put that tape on there kind of as a gasket to get it to stay. But the problem this presents is, if you look closely, this part of the mic receiver hangs over the lens. So if you notice in some of my videos, when I move the angle around, it will catch this because this part is not in the stitch line. So what I'm doing is I'm waiting on an order to come in, and I'm going to be using what's called a cold shoe, and I'm going to mount it to the base here using this hole. So then I'll be able to mount this mic receiver to the bottom, and it will be out of the stitch line because it will be behind my hand, so you won't see it when I'm filming. So that's something I'm waiting on. But this mic receiver, combined with one of these two transmitters, so this uses a magnet like this, and I'm able to put this magnet inside of my shirt, and then it clips to the receiver, the transmitter, and it holds it in place on my shirt. So whenever you see my microphone with the little green light, as well as that cat hair looking thing, I think they call it a dead cat, that's what that is. The other thing I always have in that you might notice in my video is my Galaxy earbuds. I actually have one in right now. Now, while I'm not listening to anything right now, they come in this cool handy case, just like AirPods. It charges them, and then I charge the case. I'm typically listening to some lo-fi beats to get a nice rhythm to my talking. I have been focusing more and more on editing my videos less, so to keep the flow going and to not have me bouncing around here, there, and everywhere else. I like to, just create that nice flowing video. I'm getting better at it every single day. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use that same technique for this video, so I will keep it moving. The next thing that I use is the Insta360 app. And that's this one right here. And this is what I use to move my footage from my camera to my phone and then from my phone to my laptop. And what I do inside of that app is I will move through footage, and I can actually, since there's a 360 video being filmed, I can reframe the video as I'm walking. So as I switch the selfie stick from hand to hand, it changes where I am in the picture. But what I'm able to do is go in post-production and move the frame to where I'm centered in the middle of it. That way it looks like a nice smooth movement as I'm walking, and it doesn't mess up the shot. So there are ways to select like the best angle for your video. However, because this 360 camera captures everything around it, I don't have to be so perfect with my shot and the angle. I can always move things around, and it actually kind of gives a little bit more of a natural flow to the filming process. If the camera moves just a bit, it almost looks like someone's filming me, or there's like a drone following me, which is kind of cool. So as far as angles are concerned, I'm not really too concerned about it, at least not right now. Maybe in the future when I have someone else filming me, that might be different. Or if I do have a drone following me, I'm sure the person that's operating it will probably make some amazing shots that I've never even thought of. One of the other tools I have is my phone. So there's a few ways you can export video from the 360 camera, and you can do it wirelessly between the camera and the phone. I had a S22 Plus before. It was a 128 gigabyte phone, and these files can actually be pretty big. Now, during that time, I was only doing videos on the shorter side. So these are going to be videos, if you go back and you look maybe a month or 2 months ago, you'll see like the average length of my video was between 8 and 12 minutes. And now I've kind of graduated to longer duration videos, and I'll explain why in a minute. But since I've done that, some of these files can be 20, 30, 40 gigabytes in space, depending on how big the file is. I think an hour-long video is close to 40 gigabytes. So in order to be able to transfer that from here to here, I needed this space. My S22 Plus had 128 gigabytes. And while when I first bought it, I thought I'd never use that much space, I quickly found out like it just isn't enough space. So I graduated to the S24 Plus. This is a 512 gigabyte size. It's the biggest size that they make in this configuration. And then you go up to the Samsung Galaxy Ultra. Now the processing power on this phone is just incredible. So I'm able to export files very quickly. As far as the flow when I'm editing the videos and reframing the shots, it's also very quick. So it has helped me out a lot on my journey and the workflow to get these videos exported, edited. So I'll edit them once I'm done filming on the walk. And then once they get home, I can throw them into Premiere Pro and edit what I need to edit, add my music, change my levels, cut out parts where I cough or sneeze or spit. That way you don't have to experience that. I am thoughtful in that sense. All right, so up next, I've got this little guy. Now, this guy right here has been a game changer for me, because when I first started, I was plugging my S24 Plus into my laptop and my S22 Plus into my laptop. But I needed an additional program for that. It's called, I believe, OpenMTP. So if you don't have a hard drive and you want to transfer from your Samsung phone to your Mac laptop, you may need that program. I believe it's called OpenMTP. And what that allows you to do is make a connection from your phone to your MacBook, and you can transfer files just like if you were to plug in an iPhone to your Mac and see all your files. But this guy right here, what I'm able to do is incredible. So a 29-minute video, which is where my camera makes a cut, that file I want to say is like 25 gigabytes, maybe 27 gigabytes. So if I'm doing like a 45-minute video, it's roughly 33, 34 gigabytes. this guy right here, I can transfer that file from my phone to this hard drive in seconds, maybe 30 seconds, 35 seconds, and that full file is transferred. Whereas before, the workflow was I connected my phone to my laptop, and then I had to open that program and then keep refreshing it to get it to properly connect to my phone, and then move the file over and then find the file and all that stuff. After I did this guy here, I'm able to find the files quickly, and this is $140. It's 2 terabytes, so it's I've got the 256 gigabyte MacBook Air, the M1 edition. So I got this guy in 2020, and to be honest, I thought I'd need the Pro. Now rendering does take a little bit more time, but when I get home, part of my workflow is to take the video off of my phone, move it to the hard drive, and then get it onto Premiere Pro. And once I work through all of my editing, I start the export or the rendering of the video, and then I'll go take a shower. So I have time to export and I'm not really worried about it. Or if I'm on the road, I'll start the export or I'll start the upload to YouTube. And by the time I get done with a few hours, it's done and I don't have to worry about it. So as far as workflow is concerned, right now, it's sufficient. Now my goal in the future is to get either a Mac Studio, maxed out, which is $5 or $6 grand. But this is going to be when YouTube is paying me. Right now I'm not monetized. And while I make decent money, I don't want to spend that money on more stuff for this journey until this journey starts paying me, because I've developed that patience now. And an extra 10 minutes editing and exporting on my MacBook Air, my M1 MacBook Air, the difference in time that it might take for right now, since I'm not doing this 100% of the time, isn't as important. So I just want to kind of put that in there so that you understand as you're going through your journey. And once you do get monetized, you may want to get your equipment, but for right now, there's a great possibility that what you're using may be more than sufficient to edit your videos and get them out there. Look, consistency is key when it all comes down to this. I have seen exponential growth, and I'm going to dive into that once I finish talking about my gear. But the biggest driving factor has been my consistency, showing up every single day, hitting record. I think I started back on October 20th, and it is November 22nd. So I'm happy to share these metrics with you in just a moment. But it wasn't until I started posting consistently, and furthermore, it wasn't until I started posting more consistent long-form videos. The shorts are cool, but when you think about the threshold of what it takes to get to monetization when you're using shorts, unless you're posting content that has nothing to do with, it's all entertainment, it's something funny, it's a prank video, if that's what the genre of your channel is, that makes sense. But my niche is self-improvement. And while I would love to see the 100 million people that I have a goal to help change their life in the course of their life, I just don't see the videos that I create going viral like that. Now I will share, a little bit further along in the video how a video that maybe I didn't even think would take off took off, and how watch hours work, because I didn't fully grasp it until just a few days ago, and it has truly blown my mind. So I hope that you'll stick around for that. Now, there's a couple more pieces to the pie that I use. Let me check out a different site. So one of the coolest things that I found during this journey is, and I'm just gonna make myself a little bit smaller here. Right. Maybe I'll move myself to the other side. How about that? So I'm out of the way. Okay, so there I go in the right corner. So I use Adobe Podcast, which is this first link up here. And the coolest thing about Adobe Podcast is, I'm able to change the edits of my audio. So if I have a lot of like background noise or cars or trucks passing by during the video, like it used to make me super anxious because I'm thinking like, man, I gotta make sure that I do not have any kind of background noise. So I already leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, but for whatever reason, the loudest vehicles are out there at that time. It doesn't make sense, but they're out there. And when they see someone driving, they might rev their engine or floor it or whatever. So I want to give you a quick demonstration of how this works, and we'll see if you can hear it. So I'm going to play this audio. Let's see, 167 here. And you may not be able to hear the difference, but I'm going to drop it all the way down. And I have this cool watch. And I'm going to just speed ahead. It's all about priorities. So let's see if I can find a spot that has, you are what you eat. I eat meat and fat. That's what I am. So of course, on this demonstration part, let me go a little further because I know there was some background noise. I've got enough stuff to last me. So I don't know if you can hear the cars and trucks passing by. Question about it. You can hear the crosswalk in the background. Now if my adjuster's higher. Wow. A lot longer than you think. You hear like the background noise just kind of disappear, and it would make the audio nice and crispy. So this has been a game changer for me in my audio, and I wanted to make sure I shared that with you. Now, I pay for the premium version, but there is a free version. Depending on the size of the file that you upload, I think it's 100 megabytes. So if you extract the audio from your program, you can actually utilize this program for free, which is kind of cool. There is a limitation, but you know, if you're just starting out and you want to get your channel off the ground, you can use this for free to begin with. And then once you subscribe to Creative Cloud or Premiere Pro, this actually comes included with it. So it's an awesome value. Finally, one other thing that I use that's kind of crucial is my watch. So this is it right here. Let me just take it off so you can see what it looks like. So this is it right here. This is the Garmin Instinct 2X Solar. So it uses solar, and if I'm on a summer day, because typically on these winter days I just get out and get my walk done with. Now I do catch the sunrise. However, in the summertime, the sun comes up earlier, and depending on what direction I'm walking in, I'm able to catch a good amount of sun, and it will actually recharge my watch while I'm walking. So I don't have to plug it in as much. I know a lot of people use Apple or Samsung products when they're counting their steps, but this right here will last up to 40 days, 40 plus days, depending on how much sunlight I'm actually getting. So it's a game changer, because I've had the Samsung Gear products in the past, and I might not get through the whole day and my watch is dead. So I'm just trying to check the time, and I find that I can't check the time because it has died on me. And what's the point of a watch if you can't check it? It's also supposed to be tracking my steps, but it doesn't do that if it's dead either. So it's all of that gear, you know, and the number one thing is a can-do attitude. You know, I wake up, and I can't stress this enough, but I wake up, you know, I say a quick prayer that I'm grateful that I woke up this morning, and I get out of bed, I go do my thing. I film my video, I come back, I edit it, and I post it. It's consistency combined with that attitude that will get you to where you want to be. Now, the last thing I want to touch on here, and this is just the first episode, but it's important to try and improve your content every single day. You know, it is important that you have consistency and that you show up, but spend maybe an hour each day just thinking about or planning out content for the following day. Maybe write down some ideas. You know, the value in that is going to be huge. And I found that just sharing my life experiences with people and being genuine about it, I don't really hold anything back. So being genuine in that aspect and just sharing what I went through, and also how it made me feel and what I learned from the situation, has just been an absolute game changer for my channel. And touching on that, now it's time to go into a little bit of growth. So I'm going to bring myself back over here, and let me make myself smaller again so you can see my YouTube studio. All right, so that is a wild number of subscribers. I got 666 subscribers. Now, as I mentioned before, it is November 22nd, and I'm going to be bringing these episodes out each Friday. So I can do an update with you each Friday, and you can kind of see the numbers and see how things are going. Because I just want to show you the path along the way to monetization. Everybody talks about being monetized. And I've got a few people that I follow, like Nemo504, phenomenal. He's been sharing his journey up until him just getting monetized, I believe, yesterday. So that's been really cool. I'm on the road to it. And to be honest, I think I started 32 days ago, actually posting consistently. And within the last 10 days, I stopped posting shorts altogether because I could just see how high that bar was, that 10 million view bar. You need 1,000 subs, but you need 10 million views. So the type of content that I was creating just wasn't going to fill that 10 million view void. And that's just a bar I wasn't interested in. And as a matter of fact, when it comes to ads and monetization, your long form content is going to be more valuable. You got to remember that YouTube started shorts to compete with TikTok and Instagram. So if they're competing in that market, but another platform has a better market share, they're only going to be able to pay so much for advertisement. Plus, when you think about short form content, people are quicker to scroll than they are to exit a video and go and look for something else. So just keep that in mind. That's something that I've realized over this time by watching other people's videos like Chad Lisenby. He mentioned he stopped posting shorts. And I thought about it. I spent a whole morning, a 4-hour morning, thinking about why he would stop posting shorts. One of the things he mentioned was, if your subscribers are on your channel, there's people that are there for shorts, there's people that are there for long form. And you want people there for long form because your monetization boils down to watch hours. So yes, it says, you have a certain RPM, but your RPMs become more valuable, and that's revenue per mil or revenue per 1,000 views when you have more watch hours. Everything kind of ties together. So if you had, for instance, say your RPM was $5, so every 1,000 people that watch your video is worth $5, but those people just clicked onto your video for 10 seconds and clicked off. Once you're monetized, it's going to have a lower RPM than if you have more watch hours on that video. It's just the way it works. So getting into watch hours, I want to share that with you right now. So I'm going to go over to my analytics page. And right now, this is a view for the last 28 days. So I started being more consistent with this over the last 32 days. So I'm going to open up the 90-day slot. So right now I am 650, almost 652 hours deep into my 4,000 hour goal. I've also added 298 subscribers in the last 32-ish days. Let's see here. Oh, these are my views. Let's click on the watch time hours. So the biggest amount of watch time hours I had before I started being consistent was 9.9. And as you get closer to this time here, you'll see it goes up, and back in October, the most watch hours I had was 42.5. And then coming into November, my highest day was 64 hours. So I talked about earlier how, certain videos can do really well. You never know what video is going to do well. That's why it's really important to be as genuine as possible and to just really dive into topics. You never know what someone's looking for. I certainly still don't know what people are looking for, but I'm figuring that out. I'm on a road to 100 videos, 100 long form videos, and my videos are getting a bit longer and longer. I told you I'd touch on that, and I will. But right now I'm looking at a 64-hour day. So it means that collectively people spent 64 hours watching my content, which is awesome to me. I mean, that's a week and a half of the standard work week in a single day. So I'm starting to understand, I'm really starting to get how if multiple people watch your video at one time, your watch hours can go up like crazy. And it wasn't something or a concept that I grasped before, because I thought, oh, well, there's only 24 hours in the day. So how could I get thousands of watch hours in a single day? Well, now I'm starting to see it. Looks like I jumped up a couple subscribers. I'm at 668 now. So I'm going to go over to my content, and I want to just show you what my top performing video is right now. So I had a video back in 2020. I was walking 10 miles a day at the time. I lived in Lancaster, California, and I was pretty much just walking out directly and then coming back. So I was going out 5 miles, coming back. And there were a lot of days that I would walk more than that, but that was how I started my day. 5 miles out, 5 miles back. And primarily at the time I was posting on Instagram. And I mean, I don't even like saying the word Instagram on YouTube, because YouTube is like up here when it comes to social media content and people being able to learn from your content. But what I used to do was I would get to the halfway point and just post something motivational at the halfway point. And then I would post it to Instagram and walk back 5 miles. Well, this particular video here has 5,200 views. So let's dive into the analytics of this video. And this video has been up since July 23rd of 2020. So if I dive into the analytics of this video, it's got 88 watch hours, right? And right now it's showing a metric since published. So since July 23rd, 2020 until today. So it's had 5.2 thousand views, 88 watch hours, and it has added 30 subscribers. Now, while that's great, this video was only 2 minutes and 5 seconds long. So even if these people watched my video, let me see if I have a calculator here. So even if the 5,200 people watched my video for 2 minutes, and we'll divide that by 60, that's only 173 hours of potential that this video could have gotten. So I'm almost dead at the middle of the type of watch time I could have got for this video, just because of the length of it. So now if I go back and I go to a video that has been performing quite a bit better, it's going to be this video here. So I posted this video October 26th of this year. It's got 4,600 views, and let's dive into the analytics. So this is a video that really opened my eyes on what could happen with a single video. Now you'll see this video is 4 times the length, almost exactly. It's 8 minutes and 21 seconds. It's had 4.7 thousand views, and it's got 240 hours of watch time. So look at the difference there. Now the average, let's see here if it shows my average view. So right now it's showing 37% of the video is getting viewed, and already a minute more of this video is getting viewed than the total length of my most watched video. Now, I know that people don't typically watch 100% of a video. So if I have a 2-minute video out, and let's just go back to that really quick. So if I have a 2-minute video out and I go back into the analytics here, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom so I can see. So the average view duration is 1 minute. So while it is close to 50% viewed, the most that it could be viewed is 1 minute. So the longer your videos are and the more value you provide in that video, the more likely that people are going to watch it all the way through, and it's going to bring your retention rate up. You want a higher retention rate for a couple of reasons. So when this other video first got put out, I'm going to go back to it. The retention rate was kind of on the lower side. It was like in the, let's see here, where's my retention rate? So average percentage viewed is 37%, and that's also the retention rate. So it was like high 20s, like 28, 29%. And then one day, like maybe a week ago, YouTube decided to push this video, and then it just kind of exploded. Like the retention rate went up, and each 0.1% that the retention rate went up, then the views would go higher and higher and higher. I'd have 10 views an hour, then 20 views an hour, then 40 views an hour. Right now, let's see what it's getting. So it seems like about right now, it's evened out to about 18 views per hour. But at the highest point, maybe 3 or 4, it was when I was in Dallas. Sometimes I'd see 70, 80, 90 views per hour on this video, and that's how I got to these views. So it's really important to understand the correlation between retention rate, which is how much the audience has a collective views, and how many hours you'll end up getting from that. So like the longer your video, if you have say it's a 10-minute video and you've got a 30% retention rate, that means on average, people are watching 3 minutes of your video. If you have a 30-minute video and people are watching 30%, that brings it from 3 minutes up to close to 10 minutes. So the difference there is really going to convert in your watch time hours. Of course, the video needs to be packed with value, but that's all part of this journey. You get to watch the videos that are doing the best for you and kind of analyze them and see what you did or maybe didn't do in that video, and then just try to replicate it with a new subject or a new topic that you can add value to. Let's see if I got anything else to talk about here. Looks like I might. So I want to just let you know that, for one, like I already said it, but I'm not monetized yet. But trust me, in this current state, like I can completely appreciate why you would want to see like what the steps are to get there. Because when you're just starting out, like we all start at zero, right? And some people's content takes off quicker than others. And we wonder, what am I doing wrong? Or is this ever going to happen for me? Or, there's a list of questions that just goes on and on and on. But I want to create this series to inspire you to keep going on your journey if this is what you truly want to do. Like I've said it so many times in my videos, but I want to be a full-time YouTuber. Like that's what I want to do. I want to provide value to people that may be missing that little key piece of inspiration to start their next discipline. So that's what this is about for me. But I also want to show you like what I'm looking at on my back end, so you can actually see, you can see my growth. You can see what I am and maybe what I'm, excelling at and where my shortcomings may be. So that's going to kind of wrap it up for this video. And just to recap, I went over the gear that I use, parts of my workflow, and just kind of going over everything that is part of my YouTube journey, the back end, all that good stuff, and if you want to see more content like this, I'd like you to let me know in the comment section. Let me know if there's something that I missed in this particular video that you'd like me to go over. Feel free to subscribe, because I'm going to be dropping these videos every week in addition to my daily walking videos, where I just, give you a little bit of self-improvement tips and talk to you about my journey, give you an update on my steps for the previous day, and just how I'm doing overall. Remember that the goal of this channel as a whole is to inspire you to become the best version of yourself. And that's going to be through me showing up every single day and showing you that I'm becoming the best version of myself. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to catching you next Friday in the one that follows. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.